Climate rally in the middle of a football game, and Coach K continues to prove why he is a coaching great. Good evening, and welcome to Wheelhaus. I'm James Catato. Alongside me, Brian Rubman.
Absolutely. We got a great show as we saw icons returning to action and much, much more this week. James, you want to start us off on the football field?
I will. Colin Kaepernick had a workout on November 16th in front of 7 NFL teams and has gotten no response since said workout. The 32-year-old hasn't played for almost 3 years since he last played for the San Francisco 49ers. The 25 teams that did not show up for Kaepernick's workout in Georgia were sent film of the 40-minute workout by his representatives. After the workout, Kaepernick said to reporters, quote, "I've been ready for 3 years and I've been denied for 3 years," end quote.
And Buffalo Bills running back Frank Gore has passed Barry Sanders for third on the all-time career rushing list on Sunday. In Gore's 15th season, he became the fourth player to rush for 15,000 career yards earlier this year. Gore only sits behind NFL greats Walter Payton and Emmitt Smith. Gore, who is 36, has played for 4 NFL teams in 15 years and is only 1,500 yards away from passing Walter Payton for second all-time.
Moving to the Staples Center, Memphis. LeBron James and the Lakers taking on Ja Morant and the Memphis Grizzlies. You see the Grizzlies rocking the old school Vancouver uniforms. First quarter action, James picks off the pass and takes it all the way for the rack attack. Remember, the man is still doing stuff like this, and he's turning 35 in December. Unreal. Second quarter, Grizzlies up 12. Look at the pretty move from Ja Morant to Jay Crowder. We talk about LeBron being 35. Ja Morant's only 20. I'm really excited to see what he can do in the league once he gets his feet wet. Lakers trying to make a bit of a comeback in the third as LeBron and Anthony Davis playing the screen game. Davis gets in the way of Crowder, and LeBron knocks down the three to tie it up. And then Davis, right with a hand in the grill for the Lakers' next bucket, hits the really tough three. Fourth quarter action now. I'm telling you, this kid lives for the moment. Morant picks off a LeBron pass, makes Kyle Kuzma spin all the way around. And then look at this next play. Drives into the paint, switches hands, and draws a foul against Dwight Howard. And then he flexes for his home crowd, but the Lakers would prove to be just a little bit too much for those young Grizzlies. LeBron misses it. Davis ices the game on a putback layup. Now the Grizzlies would have one more opportunity to score, but Jaren Jackson Jr. would fall out of bounds, and the Lakers walk away with a 109-108 win over the Memphis Grizzlies.
And switching now to the Eastern Conference, as the best of the East just can't seem to stay healthy. The Celtics are now without guard Kemba Walker due to a scary neck injury after he collided with teammate Semi Ojeleye in their game against the Denver Nuggets Friday. He left the court on a stretcher. Fortunately, he has been released from the hospital, and his injury is not expected to be serious. Walker has played all 15 games this season for a Celtics squad that is 11-4 and second in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, for sure going to be a big miss for those Celtics. A familiar face has returned to the NBA as Carmelo Anthony has signed with the Portland Trail Blazers. The Syracuse alum returned to action for the first time since November of 2018 during his short time with the Houston Rockets. Anthony, who won a national championship while at Syracuse in 2003, will look to help a depleted Blazers team do the same thing, as his 13 points per game in the first 3 games with the Blazers have helped to make up for injuries to Yusuf Nurkic, Hassan Whiteside, Zach Collins, and Gary Trent Jr.
And now switching to the gridiron, as the New York Giants are off to a rough start to the 2019 season. They are currently 2-9 and have dropped their last 7 games. For the first time in franchise history, the Giants haven't won in the months of October and November. Quarterback Daniel Jones took over the starting job in Week 3 and has brought the Giants to their only 2 wins. The Giants take on the Packers next week in MetLife Stadium, where they will look for their first win in over 2 months.
The Giants haven't been too successful. Someone that has been successful, Coach K. He makes history once again. After Duke defeated Georgetown 81-73 Friday night, Coach K now holds the record for most wins when coaching a #1 ranked team with 218. He breaks the record previously held by former UCLA coach John Wooden. The Hall of Famers Blue Devils are off to an impressive 6-0 start to begin the season.
And from one great basketball program to another, the NCAA has suspended University of Memphis's James Wiseman for being helped in his move to Memphis's campus by head coach Penny Hardaway. The NCAA has suspended Wiseman for 12 games and has stated that he'll be eligible to return to the Tigers by mid-January. The true freshman will also be required to cover the cost of the move, which will require him to donate $11,500 to a charity of his choice.
The 49ers are looking to maintain control of the NFC, but they have a tough stretch of games ahead of them if they want to do so, starting tonight, right now actually, in a primetime matchup against the Packers. George Kittle is back for the 49ers, making his first start in 3 weeks, and right now the Niners are up on the Packers 30-8, so obviously a great sign if you're the Niners bouncing back from that tough loss. Next week they travel to Baltimore to take on Lamar Jackson. the MVP favorite, and the Baltimore Ravens. The week after that, they travel to New Orleans and face Drew Brees and company, a.k.a. the Saints. These next 3 games will serve as a test to arguably the best defense in the league.
Absolutely. Switching now to the college side of things, let's take a trip to the desert for a big Pac-12 matchup. Justin Herbert and the Ducks facing off with Herm Edwards' Sun Devils. Started in the first, Ducks up 7, but it wouldn't last for long. Jade Daniels airs one out to Frank Darby for the big touchdown. They've got that place rocking down in the desert, and that'll be a problem for the Ducks all night long. Move it all the way to the 4th. Sun Devils up 6, and Justin Herbert rolling to his right. He's going to get picked off by Jack Jones. He's going to set up that Sun Devils offense, and Herbert, he can't believe it. His team's down, and it's not looking good. And now it's going to be Daniels airing one out to Darby ×2. This time, coverage all over him, but it doesn't matter one bit. Arizona State up 2 touchdowns now. 1 field goal later, and the Ducks would start to fight back. Cyrus Habibi-Lakio into the end zone for the touchdown. Ducks starting to get on the roll, and they were not done yet. Later in the quarter, Herbert dropping back. He's going to find his man, Johnny Johnson III, all wide open into the end zone. Ducks now just down 3. Sun Devils would tack on another touchdown, and so will Oregon. Yet again, Johnny Johnson III on the screen picks up his blockers, makes his way into the end zone, but that's all they could muster on the day. The Sun Devils go on to win and upset the Devils 31-28 in a huge shakeup for the college football playoff as the Ducks lose for the first time since week 1. And this week's new AP Top 25 had a lot of movement. SMU and Texas A&M got bumped from the rankings, while Navy, USC, and Virginia Tech have jumped into the top 25. But nobody has dropped harder than the Ducks, as Oregon falls from 6 to 14 after losing to Herm Edwards and the Sun Devils in Tempe. The most stable part of the top 25, the top 5, where all teams have stayed exactly where they started heading into the week. We're only a few weeks out from the kickoff of the college football playoff, and this is the last chance for some shakeup.
Clemson, LSU, and Georgia don't really have a huge challenge this week, but for the rest of the top 5, big games this week. Ohio State will head to Ann Arbor to face the Wolverines for the game, and Bama will have to keep hope alive as they play the Iron Bowl against Auburn behind enemy lines at the Jordan-Hare Stadium. So obviously a couple big games there, and it should be noted that Wisconsin and Minnesota will play each other this week, and a win for either of them could obviously result in some college football playoff implications.
Hey, look, this is a great time of year. It's rivalry week in college football. Always a fun time, especially in the Horseshoe or in Ann Arbor. The game, man. Big Ten, always huge implications.
Games are getting pretty intense now. When we come back, Ohio State and Penn State face off in a classic. And is Floyd Mayweather making a move to the UFC? Find out all of that and more after the break. You're watching Wheelhaus.
And welcome back to Wheelhaus. Ohio State's defensive end Chase Young not only returned yesterday from a 2-game suspension, but he also broke the school's single-season sack record. Young passed Vernon Golston's record, who had 14 in 2007, and with his new record of 16.5 sacks, which is the 4th most in a season in Big Ten history. When asked about his first game back, he stated that he wanted to put his best foot forward coming in and ended up saying that there's plenty more to be expected from him. And that's certainly what happened. Let's head out to Columbus, see what went down in the Horseshoe yesterday. Ohio State versus Penn State, big Big Ten matchup. J.K. Dobbins going to get started early, powering his way into the end zone. Buckeyes getting that early lead, and they wouldn't give it up all day long. Now 4th and goal. Buckeyes getting a little risky here. J.K. Dobbins into the end zone, extends that Buckeye lead. It would continue in the second half. This time it's Fields' turn. Drops one in beautifully for K.J. Hill. Seemed like we were headed for a blowout. But think again, as now Penn State going to come up. Journey Brown gets the handoff, and he's looking a bit like a former Nittany Lion who now plays for Big Blue all the way into the end zone to give Penn State a chance. They're back in this one. Next drive for Ohio State. We're going to get a handoff to Dobbins, but he's going to cough it up. Ball on the ground, looking like a greased pig. Nobody can get it. Penn State finally going to fall on it. Huge break, and they would not waste it, as it's going to be 1st and goal coming up for Penn State. And Will Levis calls his own number into the end zone. Nittany Lion touchdown. They're back within 1 score, but Ohio State, they're not joking around. Move to the 4th. Buckeyes would extend the lead. Fields just throws one up, and Chris Olave, he's going to take care of the rest. Goes up and gets it for the touchdown. After a catch like that, I think you deserve to dance. And Ohio State, they were dancing all the way to the victory. 28-17, the final. They stay undefeated.
I like that, Brian. Cleveland Browns defensive end Myles Garrett has been suspended for the rest of the season and has lost his appeal. According to multiple sources, Garrett will not miss any games in the 2020 season. Garrett was fined $45,623 for ripping off Mason Rudolph's helmet and hitting him in the head when the Browns played the Pittsburgh Steelers. Mason Rudolph was also recently fined $50,000, and benched in today's game against the Cincinnati Bengals. Devlin Hodges came in for Rudolph and led the Steelers to a 16-10 victory.
Switching now to the diamond, as the Chicago White Sox have kicked off free agency with a bang, as they already made 2 big headlines, signing first baseman Jose Abreu to a contract extension and also signing catcher Yasmani Grandal to kick off free agency. For Abreu, it was a 3-year, $50 million contract extension that will be good through the 2022 season, while for Grandal, it was a 4-year, $73 million deal, which is the largest deal in White Sox franchise history.
A yearly tradition is interrupted and goes viral. The Harvard-Yale football match drew attention to the field, but for a protest. More than 200 people stormed the field to bring awareness to climate change, chanting, "Hey, hey, ho, ho, fossil fuels have got to go." The protesters made their stance clear on the national stage.
I just got on the field and everyone was there, like the whole field, and everyone was super mad, but we were there and it was crazy.
And there's an awesome opportunity for all generations to be part together and understand where we're going in this world.
Maybe their approach wasn't the best, but at the same time, they are just expressing themselves.
More than 40 people were arrested for disorderly conduct for delaying the game. The nearly 50-minute delay pushed the game to finish in a double overtime in the dark. In a statement, Yale University supports freedom and speech, but the exercise of free expression on campus is subject to general conditions, and we do not allow disruption of university events. Yale ended up beating Harvard 50-43. Now moving to the ice, the Ottawa Senators taking on the New York Rangers in Ottawa, and the Sens, they got started early, not even a minute into the first period, and Thomas Chabot, the defenseman, snipes one top right corner to put the Sens up 1-0 early. And then about 6 minutes later, the Senators on the power play, and an attempted clearance by the Rangers hits referee Tim Peel in the back of the head. Now you can see in the slow motion replay is that it actually bounced off the glass and proceeded to hit Peel in the back of the neck. Prayers up to Peel. We hope he gets back onto the ice soon. After that, it didn't take long for the Senators to answer. Only 10 seconds after the Peel injury, and Logan Brown slots one home to put the Senators up 2-0. However, the Rangers would respond off a nice deflection shot by Jacob Trouba. That cuts the Senators' lead in half. Makes things a little more interesting, but Tyler Ennis had something to say about that. He decides to take on the entire New York defense by himself and puts it past Henrik Lundqvist to put the Senators up 3-1. Ottawa would score once more, keep the Rangers scoreless after the first period. They win this one 4-1 and will play the Blue Jackets tomorrow at 7 p.m.
Moving now from the NHL to Division III. The Oswego State men's ice hockey team has struggled over their past 2 games, losing to Geneseo and Hobart, giving up a total of 13 goals over their past 2 games. The Lakers have almost lost their defensive identity, whether conceding by way of the penalty kill or just generally falling apart on defense. The Lakers haven't been able to recover some of that form that fans saw earlier in the season. Times won't get any easier for Oswego as they travel to the Adirondack Bank Center in Utica for the Utica Invitational Tournament. Their first game is against ranked Salve Regina, and with a potential matchup in the championship against Utica College, who is also ranked, on Saturday.
Moving to some fighting combat sport news. Floyd Mayweather was retired from boxing only a few days ago. Now the retirement is over, and it could be with a bit of a twist this time. There's a good chance we won't see Mayweather rematching Canelo Alvarez or Manny Pacquiao, but the UFC's Instagram page was the first form of media outside of Floyd himself to break the news of his unretirement, with pictures being shared on social media of Money Mayweather sitting courtside with UFC President Dana White at an NBA game. It's possible that MMA fans could see Floyd in an octagon in 2020, which would be an interesting twist.
Absolutely. Now let's head down to the Superdome for a matchup between the Saints and the Panthers. Big NFC South Division rivals. Latavius Murray here bursting through the hole, putting the Saints up early. The Saints would keep it going. Drew Brees now play action, finds his man Traquan Smith for the touchdown, but it's the Panthers' turn now. Kyle Allen, he's just going to air it out, let it fly to his man DJ Moore, who comes down with the catch into the end zone for the score. They'd keep it going. Now 3 seconds before halftime, and when in doubt, just give it to the man, Christian McCaffrey, into the end zone. We're in a tight game headed into halftime. But now, Saints going to extend their lead a little bit. Michael Thomas, toe tap into the end zone. He's going to take a trip into the stands for a little celebration. But now, just give it to Christian McCaffrey. Shake and bake, showing us why he's a part of that Madden 99 club, into the end zone. And now they're down 7, but they'll take care of it now. Kyle Allen, pump fake, finds Moore again. This time on 4th and goal for the touchdown. Saints, they're going to get aggressive, but can't do it. Panthers stop them. We're all tied up. Now 2 minutes to go, and a chip shot field goal. You think they'd make it, but no. Saints still tied up, and they take advantage. Sly can't believe it. Breeze now, he's going to do what he does best, and that's win games late. Finds Michael Thomas all the way down to that field goal marker, and now Will Lutz going to knock in the game-winning field goal. Saints win this one 34-31. And when we come back, we'll have our top 10 plays from the past week. Don't touch that remote. You're watching Wheelhouse. And welcome back to Wheelhouse. James, it's time for some top 10 plays. I'm excited. How about you?
Let's get into it then.
Absolutely. We'll start it off. Number 10, get right into it. And Purdue versus Wisconsin. We'll take a look. Here's some college football. And who said wide receivers were only good at catching the ball? Here, Milton Wright, showing off the cannon, finds Bryce Hopkins all the way into the end zone for the score. Wisconsin would go on to win that one 45-24, though.
Now from a wannabe quarterback to an actual quarterback, the Titans are playing the Jags. And Ryan Tannehill was able to pull off his longest rushing touchdown of his career, 21 yards, not much, but for Tannehill, a lot. Now look at this, leaps into the end zone, gets hit by a few Jags defenders, but he's still able to convert these 7 points. More on this game later, but look at that. Look at that
Goes
play
flying.
from Tannehill. Beautiful.
Up and away. We'll move to number 8. We'll take to the ice. Little Islanders versus Sharks action. Islanders in the offensive zone. They're going to try and make something happen. And you rarely see this, but when you can create traffic in front of the net, good things happen. Ricochet off the goalie's back. Take another look. Finds his way into the net. Sharks would go on to win that one, though, 2-1 in OT.
7, Buccaneers, Falcons. We got Chris Godwin getting into the end zone, catching the Jameis Winston pass, takes the hit, but is still somehow able to come up with a catch. I'll tell you what, that connection with Godwin and Mike Evans, if Jameis Winston can get himself right, that's going to be a really dangerous core in Tampa Bay.
Absolutely. Number 6 now. We'll move to New England, up to Foxborough. Tom Brady just throwing it up. N'Keal Harry brings it down. Look at that spin and gets the feet down. What a beauty. Take another look. Spin move in air. Have you ever seen that before? Gets the touchdown. Pats get the win as well, 13-9.
I'm kind of disgusted there's no Jets highlights in this, but okay. Hornets, Chicago Bulls, Malik Monk rises up one-handed, throws it down. You got to imagine, too, he is not the tallest man in the world. He's rising up head at the rim, but the Bulls were able to take down the Hornets. Zach LaVine, game winner, 116-115.
Insane play. And now to another insane one. Number 4, we'll head to the nation's capital for Redskins. Lions, look at this. Fumbled the play immediately, but picks it up, and he's headed to the house, just beats the kicker. No one gonna stop him. Turns on the Jets all the way to the house. Redskins go on to win this one 19-16. Over the Lions.
I'll take your 60-yard touchdown. I'll raise you a 74-yard touchdown. That Titans-Jags game again, Derrick Henry rumbling, bumbling, stumbling. The big man out of Bama, and I don't know what it is about these Bama players, but they're just all so good. And the Titans were able to have the win over the Jags, 42-20, and obviously was highlighted by that brilliant Henry touchdown.
Obviously, now number 2, we're getting down to the wire. Little pitch play? I don't think so. Back to Russell Wilson. He's going to just let it fly. He finds his man Turner, covered by 2 defenders for the touchdown. Seattle gets the highlight and the win, 17-9 over the Eagles.
And our number 1 play, Boise State, Utah State. Now check this out. All right, he's literally running backwards and then ends up finding a way to break through. The blocking is absolutely brilliant. It's an 80-yard touchdown for Boise State. They were able to walk away with the 56-21 win and keep improving that great record that they do have. It was a great top play. And then look at this honorable mention. Now, there's a hula hoop record here. Reportedly, this woman was able to hula hoop for 100 straight hours, Brian.
That's insane. Very impressive. I don't know about you, but I can only hula hoop for about 10 seconds.
And
so
then
this
it falls
is insane
off
to me.
Yeah.
This is crazy. That's really cool.
Apparently, it's all in the hips. When we come back, the NBA is trying to make some moves that could change the entire organization and maybe even the whole sports world. Find out the changes what they are after the break. Stay tuned. You are watching Wheelhouse. Welcome back to Wheelhouse for our final main story. The NBA is considering making massive changes that could change the entire landscape of the organization. These changes include an in-season tournament, a play-in tournament for each conference 8 seed, a reseeding of the conference finals. They could see Eastern versus Western Conference teams face off before the NBA Finals. Then finally, I just said a lot of finals, a 78-game season.
Yeah, and with the shortened season, games will be more important and players will play harder knowing there's a smaller margin for error. What do you think of these potential changes, James? Do you like them?
You know, I do. I really think that these changes are good for load management. You know, and I think that you have players like LeBron James, like Kawhi Leonard. I get it. It's only 4 games that you're taking off and you're putting in an in-season tournament. So really, you're kind of just replacing a couple of things and then just adding a few things to make up for it. I mean, I really like it a lot. I think it's fresh, it's new, it's something that we haven't seen in the NBA. I feel like the fans deserve a little bit of parity in the NBA, and I like it a lot.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is a really cool thing. I think, especially with load management, you'll see more NBA players playing in more games. You won't have to deal with that, well, I paid for a ticket, but now LeBron James is sitting. But also, I think we can get more exciting games in the regular season, like you said, that play-in tournament. Reminds me a little bit of what the MLB did with the wild card game, adding that 5th spot in the playoffs, add a little more pressure, and also it'll create some more fun matchups in the playoffs. When you talk about, imagine if we could have saw the Raptors face off with the Spurs last year with DeMar DeRozan and Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah.
I think we'll get some fun matchups, and also you could see now theoretically you could see the Lakers and the Clippers playing in the finals, which we couldn't see now. So you have a better chance of seeing the top 2 teams in the league actually playing in the finals, as opposed to one of them getting knocked out in the conference finals.
Yeah, we have some changes, some possible changes, but I would love to see maybe a 1-16 instead of an 8-8.
Absolutely.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to tune in on December 1st for Wheelhouse's hour-long season finale. You'll not only see myself and Brian on the desk, but you'll see everyone else: Mike Morano, Bo Drake Dees, Matt Watling, and Luke Owens. It's going to be one that you will not want to miss, so make sure that you tune in.
And with that, we hope you have a great Thanksgiving. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.